Oh, hello, Pedro. Thanks for joining. How are you? Let me just wave to you. Pedro, tonight we are going to talk about Fedora. It's a technique and it's about the consciousness of movements. And it's all about the tongue. And they say it's really interesting. I was just introduced to this technique by Emiliano, and he's a great composer and also a great musician. Tonight I'm going to host him and hear more about the Fedora technique, but I'm going to just mention that at the beginning of the session I will speak a couple of words in Farsi to introduce Emiliano and the Fedora technique. After that I will ask Emiliano to join us. Oh, Emiliano is here. Hello, Emiliano. Thanks for joining. I will send you the request in a couple of minutes. As I mentioned before, I will introduce you in a couple of words in Persian and then ask you to join us. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I say hello to all of you. And I just start the session by talking about the Fedora and about Emiliano himself in a couple of words in Persian, and then I will ask Emiliano to join us and go on. من سلام عرض میکنم به همه مخاطبان فارسی زبونمون. شبتون بخیر. خیلی خوش اومدید به ما اضافه شده امشب. طی این لایوایی که ما داریم تلاش میکنیم که هر شنبه یا حالا یک شنبه یک کسی که توی دنیا روی سلامت نوازندگان کار میکنه و حالا یا خودش به صورت شخصی کار میکنه یا تکنیک خاصی رو در واقع تدریس میکنه یا در واقع با متد خاصی آشناست، هر هفته یکی از اونا رو دعوت کنیم و ازش بیشتر بشنویم. امشب من از طریق ادی با یکی از آهنگسازان خیلی خوب توی آرژانتین آشنا شدم به نام امیلیانو. بعد حالا خودش داستانش رو کامل به ما میگه که آهنگسازی خونده و نوازنده ساز ذهی هم است، ولی من از طریق امیلیانو با تکنیکی آشنا شدم به نام فدورا که خودش فدورا کار میکنه. در واقع نه که درس بده، صرفا روی این زمینه تحقیق میکنه و فدورا هم به عنوان هنرجو نزدیک فکر کنم 7 سال با تکنیک آشناس داره کارش میکنه. فدورا خیلی تکنیک جالبیه. میگه تمام حرکت ما، تمام اتفاقای ما متمرکز میشه روی زبون ما و جوری که ما فکر میکنیم اگر اونو یه مقدار روش کار کنیم و درستش کنیم این اتفاق درست خواهد شد و ما میتونیم که خیلی از انقباضات و اینا رو از بین ببریم. بعد کلن توی فدورا من فقط خیلی مختصر میگم چون دیگه امیلیانو میاد کامل برامون توضیح میده. توی فدورا میگن همه چیز حول محور ذهن و زبون میچرخه و در واقع هم خروجی ما هم ورودی ما زبونه و وقتی که من دارم به یه کلمه خاصی فکر کنم یه حسای خاصی رو قاعدتا تجربه خواهم کرد و این تکنیک توی آرژانتین بسیار مرسومه و خیلی معروفه. فقط اینکه من مدرسه اصلی این تکنیک رو متاسفانه به خاطر اینکه خیلی انگلیسی شاید براشون سخت بود صحبت کردن و اذیت میشدن نتونستم دعوت کنم و امیلیانو لطفی گفتش که من باهاشون ارتباط میگیرم، تمام چیزایی که نیازه رو ازشون میپرسم و تلاش میکنم که توی لایو دقیق بتونم براتون توضیح بدم. خیلی لطف کرد چون کار سختی بود واقعا یه تکنیک جدید معرفی کردن و خیلی جالبه. این تکنیک توی آرژانتین بسیار زیاد استفاده میشه و بسیار معروفه. یکی از نکات مهمش اینه که من یه دوستی دارم مربی الکساندر تکنیک آرژانتینیه ولی توی مکزیک زندگی میکنه. ما توی اینستاگرام با هم دیگه در ارتباطیم و مثلا کارا همدیگه رو دنبال میکنیم. امشب پست منو که دید راجع به فدورا خیلی خیلی خوشحال شد، گفت فدورا تکنیک فوق العاده ایه و احتمالاً خودش هم امشب به لایومون اضافه میشه. فیلیپه میخوام بگم که خیلی از نظر خودشون ارزشمند تکنیک و جذابه. حالا من دیگه کم کم شروع میکنم انگلیسی. من یه چیز قبلش بگم. ما این روال شنبه یک شنبه همون که این لایوا در مورد سلامت نوازندگان رو داریم میذاریم ادامه خواهیم داد. هفته آینده یک شنبه ما جنیفر جانسن رو داریم از مدرسین بسیار با سابقه هستن. میشه که دورای تربیت مدرس بادی مپینگ رو میذارن، هفته بعد به ما اضافه میشه. حتما اون رو دنبال کنید. خب من دیگه زبون رو به انگلیسی تغییر میدم. در حین لایو جاهایی که نکته خاصی بود مثل لایو قبلی از امیلیانو تایمی میگیرم، ترجمهش میکنم و بعد دوباره برمیگردیم سراغم. اوکی. Emiliano, I'm sending you the request. Please accept it and join us. We are so excited to hear more and more from you and from the Fedora technique. You have received it or not? Hi. Can you hear me?
How are you, Hamid?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thank you for having me. I'm having some problems with internet connection, but we will see. Okay. Do you see me right?
I have a problem with let's say the connection. Your picture is somehow frozen and I don't have your voice.
Let me.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yeah, I can. Let me.
I think now it's better. Are you changing your internet source? یه مقدار فکر کنم اینترنت خیلی دقیق نبود. اجازه بدین سورس اینترنت رو عوض کنم مجدد بمونه.
It's okay. Do you see me now?
It's better now. Yes,
okay,
yes,
great.
It's perfect.
I'm fine, thanks. I have to get to the.
How is the weather in Argentina?
Sorry?
How is the weather there?
Oh yes. So it's like raining very hard, but I had to come to the office because it was noisy at home because where they were fixing some pipes or something like that. I don't know.
You're at the office?
Here right now, yes.
Okay. Is it raining outside?
No, not now. It's really sunny now because it was raining all the morning, but now it's sunny.
Okay. Is it cold or hot?
No,
because in Tehran,
I'm here with just this, so it's not really cold, but not really hot either, because we are just spring now.
Okay, good. Okay, Emiliano, tell us about yourself, your educational background, your university degree. Let us know more about you.
Okay, yes. I think I will start with my violin playing. I started playing the violin at the age of 16, and when I was 17, I was playing in my first orchestra. And when I was 18, I was joining my first symphonic orchestra. So it was a rush for me, you know. And from there, I started in a local conservatory that is called Manuel de Falla. So I began to take music as my main job, you know. So I started from there. I did 7 years in that conservatory, and then moved to the local university the National University of Arts here in Argentina, and started composition. So that's what about the career. And from where I started playing violin. I started to play more and more, and I played from 16 to 25 or something like that, and then moved to, well, all the time that I was in the conservatory, and I finished the local conservatory, the Manuel de Falla Conservatory, with a lot of pain playing violin. So from there, I started composition in another university.
Okay, what happened that you became interested in playing the violin? Were you seeing it in somewhere, or no, a family member used to play it? What happened?
It was strange because nobody in my family is a musician, and from just a little boy, I started to have interest in violin, but I don't know where it came from. Really don't know. So I have a little try when I was like 10 years or 11. I studied for 1 month and say, okay, this is too hard. I will do another thing. I want to play with my toys. So I then restarted at the age of 16.
Oh, good. And you were one of those smart students, yes, the intelligent students. You just
Yes,
went to the orchestra 1 year after your starting of your playing.
yes, yes. It was the first. It was strange because the first year I wasn't practicing so much. So when I go to the with the test that they made to use to enter the orchestra, I was like, okay, I will try. It will be a good experience. And when I can join the orchestra, I couldn't believe it. So the next time I go to audition, I was just a little frightened because it was a big orchestra, 70, 80 people. So it was different. The first orchestra was a tango orchestra that has 16 or 20, 20 people, and they were in a way known like friends of friends or something like that. So it was not such it wasn't as, so hard for me to
Uh-huh.
to go to the audition to face with that. But well,
Okay.
but
The time that you what,
sorry.
how many hours per day you used to play?
When the first year I played, I think 1 hour a day, nothing more. And in the moment that I entered the orchestra, I jumped from 1 hour to, I think, 6 hours a day. And my teacher from that time said to me, okay, you have to play all days. A day without
Oh,
practice is a day lost. So I practice from Monday to Monday, not Sunday or not Saturday for me. And well, from there, it became to rise, because okay, so 1 hour the first year, then 6, and when I entered the conservatory, the first thing that I saw it was that maybe in the technique part, because you have proven that you can do it in an audition, okay, you have the technique, but in the music part, in the music mind, you are years behind, because I started at 16 years, so that led me to start practicing 8 or 10 hours a day. just to
Wow.
try to reach my colleagues, you know.
And why did you change your major? I mean, you were studying, of course, violin performance, but for the master's degree, you changed your major to composition. What happened?
Well, in that moment, I was feeling a lot of pain. So just to try to do something with the music, because well, in that moment I was with a little bit with a more with so much pain, you know, that it was difficult for me just to think that I could play freely, or I could go to an audition. I enjoy it. So
Mhm.
then the first thing I think is, okay, maybe until I get better, or I heal, I can keep growing my musical mind, starting with composition. So that's what I did in those years, 8 years ago.
Oh, okay. That's why you became interested in performance-related injuries and how they are going to be prevented. Yes?
Yes, I started earlier because the first time that I went to one of these techniques was when I was 21, I think, 21 years. It was Alexander technique. I studied Alexander technique for 4 years, and
Oh,
yes, and then you have to think that in that moment my days were just waking up, going to the local conservatory, studying the theoretical subjects, and when I try to play, I have pain. So the thing that I understand that is that was something that I have to care about. It's something that I have to work with. So I started doing it at Alexander, started going to different doctors, and then I started Feldenkrais, another technique. I do it for 2 years in parallel, and then I do some technique. I think it's not very well known. It's called eutonia. Um, from there, I went to Fedora, but the way I knew Fedora it's a little bit different. Alexander technique and Feldenkrais technique was presented to me as, I don't know, a friend of mine, or some friend from the conservatory or something like that. I really don't remember. But Fedora appears when I went to a local foundation that it's called the Hand of the Musicians, that it's led by doctors. I was jumping from one doctor to another, and in some point I reached a doctor that with bad results, because I was going to a doctor and treat me for tendinitis, and then go to another and treat me for another thing, and jumping from one to another until I reach this doctor that, as you, it's fun to remember for me, because it was the key for me to understand something. He was the most honest doctor that I went to. He said to me, he was a specialist, a hand specialist from here, from Argentina. So, you're a musician, okay, I can't help you. He was so honest. He said to me, I can't help you. You, as musician, behave in another way, in a different way. So, I had to study a lot just to start to understand how you react. How do you react? Or will you react
yes.
to
I
this?
think what the doctor mentioned is perfect, because musicians are especially different with other people, and their treatment should be as well. Because we are used to do some repetitive motions all the time. We are working, of course, small muscles, and we do way too much time in a practice room, and we don't get enough rest. We don't get enough uh, nutrition, and we don't care about ourselves. We just play, and I think musicians should be in the center of attention about injuries. Just let me know, are you able, can you play the violin again now or not?
Yes, I can, but I don't, because I found in musical composition something that it's so powerful and so interesting for me. And well, you have to choose, because when you are doing something, you can't. If you go horizontal, you can go vertical. If I do violin and piano and this and that, it's better for me to just focus on my piano lessons and my composition, because I think it's my opinion, piano is fundamental for a composer.
Good. And you mentioned that during your journey, you were introduced to three more techniques. The first one was the Alexander. I, to be honest, I cannot repeat the name of the two others. But
Okay,
eventually,
Feldenkrais
sorry?
was the second one, Feldenkrais.
Falla, yes. Could you at first tell us about the Alexander technique and how it helped you? And after that, we can just continue to know about Feldenkrais.
Okay, so the thing is that Alexander it's a really good technique. It changes a lot of things of me, of my posture. It helped me to start to have conscience of my body, to have to start thinking about the motion and where to go, it's a fundamental thing in Alexander, just to have the head up, and they teach you to, they assist you in some way, because most of the classes are assisted by the teacher, or maybe it was like this in my case, just learning how to stand up, to sit down, and all the work with the table. I think the best thing that Alexander gave me was this conscience, because I started to understand that, that the muscles and the body is something that you have to train to do something, because not only your mind is the one that is going to reach someplace. You can't develop your mind more than your body, because you will start to building a gap between those that will hurt you. So the thing I think Alexander gave me was that maybe, and I will reach to that point in a bit. Maybe what happened with Alexander and with me is that Alexander as a technique, tried to lead me to a place that I couldn't reach, because I was with so much pain that the basics were far from me, And
Yes.
Feldenkrais is a technique that is, it's funny, but they have so many similarities. They work in a different way alone. When you are alone, they work in a different way, because you have exercises, you go to the table or to the floor, and you move in some way or another way. But when you get assisted by the teacher, they work in a table, they do the same things. So it shocked It shocked me. When I had my first class, it was okay. This is the same. I couldn't believe it in that time.
Oh, and is it originated in Argentina?
No, 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 no. It's from England. I think I can't remember. I don't know. But it's a very very well known technique in. It was really really popular when I joined it. I don't know why. It's not like Fedora, you know. When I say Eutonia, I don't know really how popular it is, but Fedora is here in Argentina, maybe something in Chile, and the people who travel to Spain, they built a school there, you know. But that's the three places with Fedora. With Alexander is well known in the whole world, and I think Fedora is so the same.
One of the nice thing about Argentina is that people take a lot of care of their health, and there are different techniques that are, let's say, distributed in the Argentina. People use them to stay healthy, especially musicians. I remember that you mentioned you have a clinic for musicians that work especially with musicians. I was connected with one of the ladies. So let
Yes,
us
yes.
know about that.
Yes,
How do you work?
it was a foundation called Hand of the Musicians that they they have different specialists from different specialties that help musicians in different ways. You know, the founder was a hand specialist that it's called. I couldn't remember the name, but it doesn't matter. So, what it surprised me that first they came to a diagnosis for my heart that was certain, that has logic, and that it helped me to understand where the problem was. It wasn't in my arm, as all the doctors think. It was in my neck, but not in my neck as my not like right here, from here, and from the all the cables. You know, I don't know how to say, but all the things that goes to the arm.
All the nerves. You know, musicians usually
Nerves.
have in their nerves, and because they actually put their nerves into a lot of pressure and a lot of contractions here. They usually face an injury in their hands, but the problem is not located in their hands. It's usually in their neck, and it's originated in their neck.
Exactly. So that was the first thing, and the other thing was that they recommend me to try this technique. They said to me, okay, so you have this problem. It's difficult to treat. You should try this technique. And they said to me, go to there and try that. That's what that
Oh,
was.
okay. You mean the Fedora?
Yes, 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 yes. I knew Fedora from the you know.
I see. I see. Just give me a moment. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we just reached the name of the Fedora, and let's continue with that. Okay, let us know about that. What is Fedora? Where is it originated? Who is the founder? And what does this basically work on? What problem does it actually address?
Okay, so the founder was Fedora Aberasturi. That's why some people know it as Fedora technique or Aberasturi technique. She was a lady that she was based in Chile, I think, and she went to the USA to study with one of the greatest pianists of all time. I couldn't remember the name. And she wasn't feeling pain. She started to develop this technique from the search of the sound. She understood in that time that when she was tense, when she had problems with the movement, maybe she could play the passage, you know? When she go to an audition, she play it and the notes where they need to be, you know? But the thing is that she started thinking, okay, I can't reach the last part of the theater. My sound needs to develop. My sound needs to be full. So she started to understand that with this technique, this exploration of herself, she started building this sound that she wanted, not repeating different.
Was she a musician?
Sorry?
Was she a musician?
Yes, she was a pianist. She went to USA to study with I couldn't remember the name, but well, if I remember, I will say it. But yes, she was a pianist, and she was a local pianist, and she came to Argentina later and started to build this technique and this school with all his students, because she was, as she was teaching, she was developing the technique. As she was searching, she was finding the different concepts that she wants to develop, you know? Is why that she, for example, didn't write a book. Their students write different books, and one of the books, I think the most important one for me, is one that it's all phrases from her. The students wrote down different phrases that she was saying, and they put it in a book. So
nice.
So yes.
And she was using this technique to prevent performance-related injuries or to treat them.
The thing was that she started as a search from the sound, and when she was having students with problems, she started to see that the problems started to go away, you know? So
I see.
That was the thing that started to happen. Not the other way. She doesn't start with pain, or she doesn't start with saying, okay, you have a problem, we will work with that. She started trying to find the sound. And when she, in that search, she started to find that she can prevent problems, for sure, and she can heal problems that are existing.
Oh, nice. You mean that she was just thinking about the sound, yes?
Yes.
She was thinking about the sound, and she was trying to help and prevent everything by using those sounds. Am I right?
Yeah, right. But I don't know really in which moment she decided that this was a technique that can help others not to develop sound only, just to deal with injuries, you know. But in that, well, my teacher studied with her. I don't know, but how many years? But she has been a teacher for the last 30 or 40 years. So of Fedora technique. So what she says that is that when she take classes with Fedora, because they are group classes, you know, and no, it's not like one-to-one. It was really enlightening to hear Fedora the way she thinks, because it's a work from to introspection, you know, to go inside, and that develop was really clear in his work. I wrote down some key points to talk today, and one is that the power of the word, and why some words have meanings inside them that we think that we are saying something, but we are saying another thing. For example, concentration. Concentration is a good word. Good word because when you think about concentration, the first thing that you feel or you imagine in your head is something that tends to form. You know, just do like this. Okay, I'm concentrated.
Yes.
I'm paying attention. Yes. So why? Why is that a word, just a word, is putting in our head an imagine that leads us to tension?
See.
So when Fedora was talking, and she, as she was developing the technique, she was started to find that what she says to their students was very important in the process, you know. So it's really important what we say, and it's a huge responsibility. Yes.
Okay, I know that you have some key points and we are going to follow each of them, but would you please give me maybe a minute to translate this part into Persian and then continue the rest?
Okay.
Thank you. ما رسیدیم به تکنیک فدورا. حالا قبلش که چند تا تکنیک دیگر رو امیلیانو تمرین کرده بود که توش الکساندر بود. دومی من خود تلفظ باید پیداش کنم. تلاش میکنم که یه نفر رو از این تکنیک کنم دعوت کنم که تکنیک نموده باشه. توی رسیدیم به فدورا، کسی که فدورا رو اختراع کرده خانم بوده، سازش پیانو بوده، بعد میره امریکا با اصول کار میکنه و متوجه میشه که کلمات به شدت تاثیر داره روی روند کاری ما، روی همه چیز ما. مثلا میاد چیکار میکنه؟ میاد متوجه میشه که یه سری کلمات رو به کار میبره، رفتاری که نجاش انجام میده، عملکرد نجاش داره متفاوت. از این طریق میاد یکی پیدا هر کلمه چه حسی داره. مثلا الان یه نکته جالبی که امیلیانو گفت وقتی که ما میگیم تمرکز کنیم رو ناخودآگاه حس می‌کنیم، یه خورده یعنی یه حالتی میگیریم خب تمرکز. خب الان من دارم چه کاری انجام میدم؟ تمرکز توی ذهن من یه معنا پیدا کرده، اینه که من خودم تمرکز کنم. و الان به من جالب بود، من خودم نمی‌دونستم الان یکی تمرکز کنم شاید ناخودآگاه این کارو می‌کردم، اینکه به گفته دارم بهش توجه می‌کنم. داریم روی قدرت کلمات که چجوری میتونن حرکت ها رو تغییر بدن صحبت می‌کنیم. بریم ادامه ببینیم نکته بعدی که امیلیانو می‌خواد بگه چیه. Okay, we are with you again. Let's go to the next key point.
Okay, so I don't know if you tell the audience the brief I sent you. If not, I will read it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so let me find it. So we can start from there, and I will say the key points that I will talk about. Okay? So Fedora is a technique that centers in the use of the tongue as the engine of all movements of the body. Focusing the work in practicing the travel of the movements, not only to go to a place, you know, all coordinated by the action of the tongue and the words as the main fuel of the movements. The founder says, the tongue is the receiver of our thinking, and through direct communication with the brain, it or she, the tongue, will open different parts of the body. Well, I said it has shown to have very good results with different diseases, such as dystonia, that it's a problem that it's very difficult to treat, tendinitis, and many types of musician and non-musician issues. Many non-musician injured people came to the technique just to treat our pains, you know. Well, now another we talk about. So we will talk about the tongue, that it's the main point and the thing that most people say, okay, what did you say? The tongue? Yes, the tongue is the most important thing in the technique, and is the key to open all the doors, all the different parts of the body that are having problems, you know. And the topics that I would like to treat, because I was watching your videos this week and thinking, okay, from where to start, because it's something needs to talk about a technique to people that really don't know or really don't understand how to train your body, how to work with your body. And it's another thing to talk to people that have a background, you know. And as I saw that we start from a background talking about Alexandra and all the very interesting techniques that I was watching, I think the best thing is to talk about the differences, you know. So that's why I put here. First topic, feeling is not the way. Feeling is not the way to work with your body. The next thing is a gap between your head and your body. The thing that we talked about earlier, about building a gap with your brain as you develop your musical expressions or your musicality or your knowledge about what could or you couldn't do with your instrument and what you really can do with the body that you have at that moment. The next thing is repeating isn't the way neither. That's a point that it's treated by most of the techniques. It's a really good topic to talk about because, well, we as musicians know that we have to repeat a lot just to get the passage well or something like that. And when we start to repeating the same as the same way, repeating the same way, you start to get little pains in different places. The next thing is, well, the power of the words that we say earlier, and some key points that are particularly interesting in the techniques that are the word itself, the tongue, the conscience, what we say when we say conscience, and why we put conscience and concentration in different ways, and we say, okay, don't talk about concentration, talk about conscience, talk about attention. And one of the things that impressed me the most in the past years, that is the word relaxation. Relaxation is, or as Fedora treated, is a misunderstood word. You know, it's treated in a way that tends us to abandon parts of our bodies. So we can start with the first, that is feeling is not the way. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so if you are injured, you know, and if you have a chronic pain.
Could you please name the first one and then we start it?
Okay, the first one is feeling is not the way. Yes, or feeling something, yes. Trying to feel something is not the way to enhance your movement. You know, to go to the place that you're supposed to be. It's really common.
Okay, let's just translate this part and we continue. Is it okay?
Okay.
Thank you. چند تا کی پوینتس داریم، دونه دونه میریم جلو. من دونه دونه میگم و ترجمه میکنم که قاطی نشه. گزینه اول حس کردن، میگه که حس توی فدورا میگن که حس کرد باعث تو اون چیزی که میخوای برسی بیشتر از اونو ما نیاز داریم. یعنی صرفا اینجوری من حس میکنم اینجوری میزنم. میخوایم بریم ببینیم که چه جوری به جز حس کردن چه کار دیگه باید انجام بدیم مثلا به این هست. Okay, Emiliano, we are with you again. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, no problem. So the thing is that when you have a chronic pain, when you feel pain all day long, and from that you are injured, you know, when someone, and when I say someone, I say a teacher from different techniques, says to you, if you want to do this movement, that's the movement that you want to do, because I don't know, you want to have a slide in the violin and go to a place and take a different passage or a difficult passage. If you want to do this movement, okay, you have to feel this. You have to feel relaxed. You have to feel your shoulders down. You have to feel your neck up. You have to. That's things that, okay, you have to go to a place. But the first thing that one as a student says is, okay, so I have to keep my shoulders down. Yes, I do this, and the first thing is what I have to feel. So I can put my shoulders down like this, or I can be relaxed, or something like that, you know. So you start talking with your teacher, what I have to feel, you know. And the teacher says, for example, okay, so you have to feel loose, you have to feel relaxed, or something like that, and we start talking about feeling. And the problem about feeling is that you can try to feel what the other says, but the response from your body will be pain, because you have this chronic pain. Your brain, your whole system is crossed by this recurrent pain, you know. And the thing is, if it's crossed like that, and you're trying to feel something. For example, I have a problem with my forearm, you know, I have pain here. So I said to my teacher, I have pain here. What should I feel just to stop feeling pain? Because that's the things that if we don't do that question, but with what we are trying to say when we say a teacher, or we ask a teacher, what you feel, what we are really trying to say is, okay, just tell me what I have to feel to stop the pain. So the problem with that is that we have different bodies.
Okay, let me just ask you a question. As much as I understood about what you said, is that when the teacher tell you, for example, feel relaxed or feel free, and okay, feel the passage or feel something, you will feel pains as well. Is that what you are going to tell us?
Exactly. That's the thing. The pain won't go away, and the thing with that is when you start to develop your mind in a way, you know, when you are trying to feel something because that's good, because your teacher says that you have to feel something because that's good and that's the way to heal, and you do it with pain, your brain started to develop this concept of, okay, so this feel was okay because I feel what my teacher says, but this feel has pain inside because I'm having pain at that moment, so the pain won't go away.
Oh, I see. Okay, just give me a moment to translate this part.
Okay.
یه نکته جالبی که فدورا میگن، ما مثلا خیلی وقت پیش اومده میتونی حسش کنی، دیگه اینجوری حسی بزن در میاد. و میگن که چون روی قدرت کلمات دارن کار میکنن و اینکه کلمات یه وقتی که شما میگید به نوازنده حسشون، نوازنده به طور معمول چون ما همیشه وقتی کار جدید انجام میدیم انقباض‌هایی رو ناخودآگاه به وجود میاریم. مثلا دیدید خیلی وقت شما به گیتاریست نوازنده که هنوز شروع میخواد استودنت شروع میخواد بکنه، شما وقتی گیتار بشونید ناخودآگاه سری از قسمت بعداً صفر میکنه که عادت گیتار رو نگه داره. یعنی میخوایم که فدورا میگن این درده چون ما اول با در واقع تکنیک درست پیش نیامدیم نهادینه از نوازندگی. و وقتی شما میاد به عنوان مدرس هنرجو که حسش کن اینجا رو حس بزن اینجوری، حس برای ذهن اون در واقع درد رو تداعی میکنه، اون هنرجو هم داره با اون حس درده هم تجربه میکنه. اوکی؟
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
no problem. So here, one may think, okay, so I can't stop feeling. Feeling is a natural thing, you know. Feeling is something
Yes.
that is going to happen in the technique, and it's going to happen when you are doing exercises. But we are talking in a bit how to work with the feeling, you know. We talk about conscience of movement, from where the movement is generated. That is different from what I want to do. For example, I want to have a good posture when I'm playing the piano, and I need to move my fingers and my arms through the whole piano, you know. So one may center in the fingers or in the arm, but the technique says your sustain is from your axilla. Yes, your axilla, your I don't know how underarm is said, you know. So that's a really powerful thing about the technique, because you are going to have an exercise, you have the pain in your hand, and if you try an exercise with your hand, we can do an exercise with your hand, but if you try to have conscience or to work with your hand directly, the most probable thing is that you will feel pain, and it will, you know, it's
yes, it's really important and nice that in MuseMuscle we also insist on saying that the movements while we are playing, it doesn't matter if you play the violin or the guitar or the piano, the movements are generated on origin in chest and upper back muscles, and we have to use those ones to transfer the body natural way to the forearm and then the hands and play the piece. So the originator place is, of course, as we mentioned, is this muscle that is the upper back muscle, of course, and the chest muscles. We have specific exercises to let's say transfer the body natural way to these places and transfer the movement from this muscle to the hands and your arms. And it's really nice thing that we mentioned about that. Let me just translate this part as well.
Okay.
نکته بعدی که بود بحث این بود که توی فدورا چیز جالبی که هست میگن که هر حرکت باید ببینید که نقطه اصلی فرمان حرکت کجاست. میگه ما مثلا به عنوان پیانیست وقتی شروع می‌کنیم زدن، خب من دارم از انگشت تک تک کمک می‌گیرم، دستم داره باز میشه، خب به طرز ساز می‌زنم، میرم توی اکتاوای البته من و شما برعکس می‌بینید، مثلا میرم توی اکتاوای دم یا میرم توی اکتاوای تیز و خب این دست داره مجموعه دستم داره حرکت می‌کنه به جز انگشتام و میاد توی فدورا ما می‌بینیم که از این ماهیچه در زیر سرقل داره حرکت اتفاق میفته. نکته جالبی که من توی میوزماسل هم یه سری تمریناتیه که وزن و نقطه فرمان حرکت رو به ما یاد میده که از ماهیچه کتف و سینه هستش، یعنی ما صرفا با انگشتات یا با مثلا قسمت دست یا ساعد ساز میزنیم، از اون قسمت هست که داریم اینا هم دقیقا روی همون مطلب کنیم. Okay,
with you again, Emiliano. Okay, so the important thing is, you know, this the conscience of this place. And other thing important is that we start doing. It's very common when you have an injury or when you have a chronic pain that the doctors will tell you just take a break, have 15, 20, or a month, or 5 months, or a year out, and start again. And you start again doing the same things, the same wrong things. So you don't feel pain from 1 year, and then you start feeling pain again. So you have to start doing, you know? You have to start thinking from where to do. That's why we say a conscious of a place, from where the movement came, and not to feel what to do. Because when we feel, as I mentioned earlier, you go with the feeling. You start to go with the feeling of the idea of the feeling and not of the conscience of the movement. So that's an important thing in the technique, and the thing that for me was the most important part of this technique, because I was doing 4 years of Alexander, 3 years I think when I started.
Would you just clarify a little bit about where the technique, where the movement come from? I didn't get that.
Sorry, it gets cut.
Would you just elaborate and let us know more about this concept, where the movement come from? I didn't understand the concept.
Okay, so there are different parts of the body that work in a particular way, like as I mentioned earlier, the underarm or the axilla, when you try to get sustained to play, you know. But we start, for example, with this is always mediated by the tongue. So the first thing that we start thinking is that the tongue is the principal engine of the movement. So when you start thinking or start to have attention and conscience of the tongue, you have direct communication with the place that you are trying to develop. For example, a common exercise that we have is you have to move an arm from here to there. Yes. So when you start this exercise, you always are thinking and paying attention and having conscience of your thumb, but maybe working with your axilla, you know?
You mean that they all come from the time? With the time, we can direct all those problems and can change our movements by using only the time?
Yes, but it's mediated by the tongue. It's a way to reach that. You thinking about the tongue has so many places that map with different parts of the body. And when you start doing the exercise, your first month of exercise, you don't know what you are doing, and you only do the exercise and start thinking. And when you start to do the exercises, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you start to feel. You know, as we say, don't feel. That's the way the part when feeling came. You know.
Sorry to interrupt you, Emiliano. We are reaching 1 hour, and Instagram automatically actually cut the live. Let us just finish this one and start another one. Is it okay?
Okay.
I will go back again and ask you send you the request.
Okay, great.
تایمی 1 ساعته اینستاگرام